Save up to $50 at crimsontrace.com. Laser sighting systems from Crimson Trace will make you a more accurate and confident shooter. No personal protection firearm is fully equipped without a laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. Visit crimsontrace.com November 29th through December 25th and save up to $50 on the one tool no personal protection firearm should be without: a Crimson Trace laser sight. Save up to $50 now through Christmas Day at crimsontrace.com.
Broadcasting nationwide, this is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Or reach out to us via email at tom@guntalk.com. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, here's Tom Gresham.
All right, get ready. We're going to do an hour of this. We're going to talk about guns and gun rights and, well, a lot of things. Concealed carry. Man, Illinois, 50th state to bring in concealed carry. A lot of things go cooking there as we get ready for that. We've got open carry opening up in a number of states. And then we've got a whole lot of people getting ready to go deer hunting or going out and hunting deer, elk, moose, whatever. And we'll talk about hunting guns and calibers and bullet choices as well. I made a terrific stalk this morning on a couple of deer. They were in my backyard, right next to the bird feeder. So I slipped through the living room and into the sunroom on all fours so I could get a real close look at them. I am stealthy. I'm here to tell you. You would have laughed. I just wanted to get a good look at them, you know. Hey, it's like when my mom used to feed all the ducks in the backyard on the lake. Then she would go out and hunt ducks somewhere else. She says, look, I'm not going to shoot my ducks, but I'll go shoot some other ducks out there. So, hey, these are my deer. We're not shooting these. I like to feed these guys. If that seems weird to you, you just don't understand. But that's okay. That's not a problem. Our number, by the way, is 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN. We have a giveaway going on. If you go to guntalk.com/win, we're giving away a Mossberg MVP patrol rifle, a 5.56 rifle, very cool rifle. Take a look at that. Comes with a scope, comes with some other stuff on it. So go to guntalk.com/win. Let's see. This ends on Friday, December 27th. So you better get moving. Now, if you're like me, you got a concealed carry permit and you carry your gun, or maybe you open carry, doesn't matter. You're driving around and you got to go somewhere where you know you're not supposed to carry. Post office, police department, courthouse, any number of places. Yeah. What I got to do, I take off the gun and I leave it in the car. And we know what happens. Sometimes people break into cars. Well, joining me right now to talk about at least one solution for that is Tom Dunegel. He's with Console Vault, and they have a really good solution. Hey, Tom, how you doing, man?
Hey, Tom, doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet, absolutely. I mean, look, this thing really speaks to me because I carry a gun all the time. I believe in concealed carry. I believe in staying trained. But there are times when you can't go into a building. You can't. You know, you're going to drop your kids off at school. You're going to a post office. You're going to these places. Ball games. Yes, right. Good point. Some places where they got the no gun signs. And you say, okay, I got to leave my gun in the car. Here's the problem. Cars get broken into all the time, do they not?
They absolutely do, Tom. And we're looking at figures that are approaching 300,000 thefts a year between automobiles and homes, and these are people, criminals that have actually succeeded in taking rifles, long guns, and pistols.
Yep.
So it's a very serious issue. And, Tom, we got to think about the liability as gun owners, and there's a lot of responsibility, as we all know, that comes along with owning a handgun. And if that gets in the wrong hands, we can have severe liability that can absolutely change our lives.
Well, and even put aside the liability, which is a very real issue, just pure old-fashioned responsibility. Am I going to be responsible for the safety, the security of my gun? Because I'm responsible for making my gun safe. I don't point it in the wrong direction. I am safe with the way I manipulate it. I'm safe when I load it, all of that. I need to be responsible with the way that I store it to make sure that unauthorized people don't get to it. So tell me about Console Vault and what it is and what it does.
Console Vault is an 11-year-old company. We're all American-made products. And primarily we focus on items that are vaults that install in the center console of the trucks and SUVs. And we're just starting to get into some passenger car products.
Okay.
Also, we have universal products and our transporter, which, is portable, can be taken from vehicle to vehicle and used in a hotel room or at home. And pretty much a full array, Tom.
Well, now, the one that I got is for my Suburban, and the thing that I found interesting is, look, the truth of it is, and you may not know this, but all my friends who know me well know this, I'm a klutz when it comes to mechanical things. Honestly, there are guys who, if they see me pick up a screwdriver, they're calling 911 because it's not going to be good. But this thing's really easy to install.
It's absolutely essential, Tom, because there's a lot of people out there that don't do this on a regular basis. So all of these products, when they're designed, they have to be installed within a matter of a few minutes and very simple hand tools, and that's part of the engineering that goes into them. And that's one of the things that we're most proud of is the security, the ease of installation, and the overall quality.
Okay, this is not just a locking box. It's more than that, isn't it?
It's a whole lot more than that, Tom. It's 12-gauge plate steel. It's incredibly durable. The wall thickness on console vault products is typically thicker than what you'll find on your home safes. And also, it's immediately accessible. Having it right there underneath your right elbow, you can open that up. You can get it whether you're driving, whether you're parked, and secure your weapon in there or remove it. It's designed to have immediate access, and the features on it are very, very simple to operate.
All right, well, here's what I'm thinking while you're talking. I'm thinking for people that don't conceal carry, but they want to have a gun in their vehicle, why not have it there? Because you can get quick access, but it's still secure when you get out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And the nice thing about our lock systems, Tom, is you can kind of set your own level of security on there. It's typically a 3 or a 4-digit mechanical combination lock, never batteries, never biometrics that can fail, and we have just had an incredible track record with this particular lock.
What are you hearing from the customers?
We hear fabulous things, Tom. You got to remember, console vault products are not only for the consumer, they're also widely used in the government. There's tremendous government agencies that use these type products. Right. And actually, when we started the business, that was kind of the focus of the direction. But I think the most positive thing we hear from the customers is the overall quality of it, the weight. When you order a console vault and the FedEx man brings that and you lift that box up, before you even open it,
it's heavy.
You've got some quality.
Now, have you had anybody report back and say, hey, they broke into my car, but they couldn't get into my console vault?
We just had one last week, and this fellow was an engineer, and it was probably quite a while that the thieves were in the car. They actually left 2 broken screwdrivers behind, and we've just recently uploaded this information along with a few photos. We're real proud of these products. My business partner, Scott Von Vasuto, we're very much hands-on. We're always eager to talk to our client base. Suggestions, questions, we're always available. And, we encourage people to give us a call just to discuss the products, or maybe they've got a suggestion for something they'd like to see in the future. I just went on your website, consolevault.com, and on a testimonial, I love this one. They destroyed my truck, but not my console vault. that describes the whole thing, man. It really pretty much sums it up, doesn't it, Tom? It does. All right, Console Vault, CONSOLE Vault, consolevault.com. You also got some things for the home, but really, I think people really need to be looking at this just in terms of if you're on the road. Boy, you talk about being alone and by yourself. You are absolutely vulnerable when you're on the road. And having that gun in there, whether you're putting it in there from, take it off when you're concealed carry, or just driving around with it in your console vault, either way gives you a real sense of security. And I also love the security of not having to worry. I guess that's really it in the end, is you don't worry about it when you leave your car. Well, that's for sure, Tom. And you've got to remember there's a lot of other items. You should never leave your garage door open or exposed, sitting over a visor or in a little cubby. That's just like the key to your home. Inside your glove box, there's your address. There's all the information a thief needs. You're giving them your location and also a key to the home.
I never thought of that.
There's a lot of other products, too, that can go in there.
Okay, good deal. All right, consolevault.com. Take a look at it. Tom, thank you so much for spending some time with me, man.
Well, I certainly appreciate the invitation, Tom. Happy holidays to all our listeners out there and to you and your family.
All right, I appreciate it. Good product. I am a believer. Thank you for that. Console Vault. It's peace of mind. It's not worrying when you walk away from your car, quick access and all of that. But for me, just for me, okay, what I like is knowing it's going to be there when I come back. So anyway, that's my deal. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. We are open lines. 866-TALK-GUNS. What did you hear? What did you see about the Newtown shooting anniversary? The latest Colorado shooting. I didn't see that much. I'm just wondering what you're hearing out there. Also, you buying a gun for Christmas? Let me know what you're getting. I would love to get that. 866-TALK-GUN.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
Looking for shooting instruction but don't know where to go? Well, we have it, and you can access hours of training and safety videos, which you can watch on your home computer. On GunTalkTV.com, we have top competitive shooters, the best in self-defense trainers, and folks who have hunted all over the world, helping you learn which gun to buy, how to use it, how to store it safely, and everything else you need to be a safe and competent shooter. We also have gun makers showing off their newest rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Doesn't matter if you're a veteran shooter or a complete beginner, you'll find what you need at GunTalkTV.com. You can check it out for free, and you can get full access for only $5.95 a month. That gives you unlimited access to hundreds of videos, and we're adding more all the time. Run the videos over and over to make sure you understand what's being said. Skip around. You're in control. Get smarter. Shoot better. Visit GunTalkTV.com.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
What's that?
It's my Trijicon.
What's a Trijicon?
Only the best rifle scope in the world.
Says who?
How about the U.S. Marine Corps, Special Forces, Navy SEALs? You heard of these guys?
Sure.
Well, they're all using Trijicons.
Let me see it. Wow, this is really sharp.
And a lot of professional hunters are using Trijicon, too. You probably caught it on some TV and radio shows.
Yeah, I have heard some of them swear by their Trijicon.
I swear by it.
You know, I could have been a Navy SEAL.
Well, the closest you're going to get now is buying a Trijicon.
Hey.
Trijicon is the brand of rifle scopes that more and more hunters are swearing by. That's because every Trijicon is handcrafted using the finest optic materials. The bright aiming point can guarantee you a great hunt from dawn to dusk. Get your Trijicon at a dealer near you or visit them on the web at Trijicon.com. That's TRIJICON.com. Trijicon. Brilliant aiming solutions.
The Ruger American Rifle is a 100% American-made firearm that offers outstanding performance at a great price. Available in standard size and compact models, it features power bedding integral bedding blocks, a Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger, a flush-fit 4-round rotary magazine, and a 3-lug bolt with 70-degree throw. Compact models feature a shorter length of pull and a shorter barrel for a reduction in overall length of more than 5 inches. The Ruger American Rifle, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
A famous famous radio consultant once said he'd be off the air in a year.
Whoops!
Defending your Second Amendment rights since 1995 on over 150 radio stations nationwide. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
I love it. We had John Barsness on, gun writer extraordinaire, on a little while ago. John has written a bunch of books about hunting. He's really sharp on hunting rifles. I asked him the age-old question. I'm sure he gets tired of it. We all get it. If you had to pick one rifle cartridge to hunt everything, what would it be? And it was interesting. He did not hesitate at all. He said simply 30-06. Done. Adopted by the U.S. military in 1906. Great caliber, does everything, good bullets. You can find it all over the world. What would be your choice if you had to pick one caliber to hunt everything? Well, we can narrow it to North America if you'd like. That probably makes sense, because if you start going to Africa, then you've got to bump it up in size. But for North American hunting, one rifle caliber for everything. What would be your choice? 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. Let's see, line one, Scott's with us out of Kansas. Scott, what's this about an FN rifle?
Yes, sir. I heard somewhere, I can't remember where, that they were thinking of making a rifle in their 5.7 by 28 cartridge.
A bolt-action rifle.
That is what I was led to believe.
Well, I don't know if FN is doing it, but Savage is doing it.
Okay.
Savage has the Model 25 called the Walking Varminter, available in 5.7 by 25 FN. Is that weird or what? I mean, it is a little bit.
Well, that would make it compatible or compete with the new
17
Magnum rimfire cartridge, wouldn't it?
Yes, absolutely would. That's what I'm thinking. It's just, I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. Of course, now FN does have the PS90, which is a semi-automatic, short little rifle, but not a real varminter gun, that type of thing. So I don't. Well, wait a minute now. I just found a reference to FN having a bolt-action rifle. So here's my guess. I'm guessing that they'll probably release it. If it's not out already, I don't know if it is, they will release it at SHOT Show. So if anybody knows about this, maybe you can help fill me in, because I don't know if they're doing it. It looks like Savage does, and maybe FN will too. But I think you're right. Now we start getting competing with the 17s that are out there. A lot of interesting things going on the rimfire and the sub-caliber centerfire area. So anyway, tell you what, if I find out more about it, I will get it out to you, and we'll see what we can find at the SHOT Show. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. By the way, we'll be doing the radio show from the SHOT Show in Las Vegas. If you're going to Vegas, come by there. We're going to be doing it. Okay, here's the inside baseball deal. Live to tape, if you will. We will do it on a Thursday, and then run it on a Sunday, because we're all going to be on planes traveling on Sunday. And besides, the show's closed on Sunday, so we're going to do it on Thursday and grab everybody. If you're at SHOT Show, come by and say howdy. We'll be at the Crimson Trace booth. The show, we start at 10, so come by between 9 and 10 in the morning at the Crimson Trace booth at the SHOT Show. Love to see you. Love to shake hands, say howdy. Line 2, Scott is in North Dakota. Hello, Scott.
Hello there.
Hi there.
I was wondering if you knew of any gun manufacturers that ever put out the Arnold rounds.
What are you talking about? What's an Arnold round?
It was like a 243 Arnold, and there was like a 270 Arnold, I believe.
I don't know. You've absolutely got me stumped. I have never heard of Arnold rounds.
Okay. There was a guy who pulled around with some rounds a while back, and they were considered like the 243 Arnold, the 270. I think there was a 7mm Arnold.
Was that kind of like Ackley Improved type cartridges?
I guess I'm not really sure.
Huh. I just don't know. Tell you what we'll do.
Right.
We'll put out the call. If somebody knows, maybe they can help me out, but I do not know. Is there some reason that you're asking? Do you want one of those?
Yeah, they seem like they have some pretty good ballistics out of the 243. Like, they pushed it around really fast. I mean, you can really go out there and flat shooting. And
yeah, there are a lot of fast 243 options out there that are factory.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the other thing, which is what we're finding out is that you don't have to have flat shooting, real high-velocity flat shooting, to shoot long ranges. Now that we have laser rangefinders and good long bullets with ballistic coefficients that are great, you can just dial it in. So the velocity is a lot less important these days than getting good bullets with high ballistic coefficients. So, I don't know. I think most of I think Arnold cartridges are orphans before they start. I would sure look at something like a 6.5. There are several really cool 6.5s out there, the 6.5 by 284, and there's going to be a brand new 6.5 being announced in a few weeks. It's going to be fast. It's going to have all that. There you go. There's information on the Arnold. Thank you, sir. Jim cobbles that up out of the internet. That's amazing how we can do that. But I appreciate that. Thank you for that call. Let's see. I think we've got another Scott in North Dakota on line 4. Wow, Scott in North Dakota twice. Hey, Scott.
Hey, how are you doing, Tom?
I'm good. So what you looking for here?
Well, just a couple things. I know you talked about universal calibers that you really like. I know 3-06 been thrown out there.
Right.
Up in this area, we get a lot of shooting distance-wise. I also go to Africa, so I've actually gotten to be a little bit favored towards a 300 Win Mag. I shoot a Blaser, and with the Blaser, like you said, with the weapons being more and more advanced, you get the kick stop that's put in there, increased butt pads. So the recoil really isn't quite that bad anymore.
Right.
But I was just looking at your input on that, and then also the Blaser gun itself. Have you fired the Blaser or any input on the Blaser itself?
Blaser makes great rifles, high quality and very versatile. Obviously, they're kind of like a Swiss Army knife of rifles, swap out the barrels and everything else. But just for a second, the 300 Winchester Magnum, one of the great cartridges of all time, incredibly versatile. You can hunt big stuff. You can hunt lions with it if you needed to, wanted to. I would prefer something bigger, but you could. You could load it up with solids if you needed to. You can hunt deer, elk, moose, bear, whatever you want. Not terrible recoil. And if you hand load, you could load that thing down to 30-06 or 308 levels. Take it out, practice with that, have a bunch of fun. I kind of like your choice. If you like the bigger stuff, and I do, the 300 Win Mag is a great choice. The other thing about the 300 Win Mag, it is stunningly accurate. You can build a great accurate rifle around the Win Mag.
Tom Gresham's Gun Talk is broadcast nationwide every Sunday. If you can't hear Gun Talk where you live, call your local talk format station and clue them in on Gun Talk. Stay tuned. We're coming right back. Now broadcasting nationwide on radio, via satellite, and through downloads, iTunes, the Gun Talk app, and other podcast clients. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, I tell you what, there are very, very few rock stars in the gun rights movement, but there are a couple. And one of them wrote, Straight Shooting, Firearms Economics and Public Policy, More Guns, Less Crime, The Bias Against Guns, Why Almost Everything You've Heard About Gun Control is Wrong. A lot of other books that you really need to read. I'm talking about John Lott, and he's up to something new here. He joins us right now. Hello, John. How are you?
Great to talk to you again.
I really appreciate you being here. Obviously, you have been in the forefront of providing intellectual ammunition on firearms and the research. You're an economist by training, and you apply that very critical eye to basically what works and what doesn't work, and why a lot of what we think we know about gun control, we being the public, is absolutely wrong. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. I know my views on guns have changed over time as I've done research. I assume I was as affected as anybody else by just the constant media onslaught about crimes and guns. I think that's where most people get their information from. But I think it provides a very biased view of the costs and benefits. You constantly hear about bad things that happen with guns, almost never hear about the benefits that happen, and I think that really affects people's perceptions of the costs and benefits.
Well, that was really kind of the whole crux of the book, the bias against guns, which I thought was fascinating because you really documented how the media doesn't just ignore defensive gun uses. It actually goes out of its way to make sure it doesn't cover it. Is that fair?
I think that's exactly right. I mean, there's so many examples of this. Just the Portland Mall shooting that happened literally just a few days before the Newtown attack was just another example where a citizen used a permanent concealed handgun to stop what could have been a really massive mass shooting. But yet, if you look at the news coverage, it's virtually completely devoid of mentioning that the civilian used his gun to stop the attack there.
Well,
and my guess is, go ahead.
No, and you documented the media coverage of that shooting at the Appalachian School of Law, a shooting on a university where the initial reports mentioned that 2 students went and got their guns, but within, a 24-hour period, that was wiped out of all the stories.
Well, almost none of the stories mentioned it. If you looked at it, there was something like 289 news stories within the first week after the attack. Only 3 stories mentioned that the students had used their guns to stop the attack. And, unfortunately, you just see that happen time after time. There are just a couple things that if the media did differently, I think we'd have a completely different debate here. One is that virtually always these mass shootings in the United States occur where guns are banned. All the mass shootings in Europe have occurred where guns are banned. And yet you'd never know that. But it's one of the simplest things that they could figure out in doing the reporting. We often see discussions about what type of weapon was used, how they obtained the weapon, and there's usually lots of mistakes in there because it's difficult to obtain that type of information quickly. But they could tell almost instantly whether the shooting occurred in a place where guns were banned or not. And yet, even though that's the simplest fact to discover, the media never mentioned it. But if even once in a while they would say, and there's been another mass shooting in a place where guns are banned,
right?
Rather than going into made up stuff about what's an assault weapon or not, I think, as I said, I think we'd have a completely different debate going on right now.
Well, and the point of that is, I want to make sure that people connect the dots here. If the public in general is working off of a basis of information, they have this basic information that they're being fed by the media, and that's what the public makes decisions on for public policy, i.e. laws, passage of laws. If they're being fed completely erroneous and slanted and biased information, they will make their decisions, again, public policies, laws, based on bad information, and that's what we have, is it not?
That's exactly right. So, and that's one of the things I've tried to do over time is just to try to give some balance to this information. And
well, you got a new thing going here. What is this Crime Prevention Research Center you're put together?
Right. Well, I've been an academic virtually all my adult life, or I've worked as chief economist at the U.S. Sentencing Commission. There are different levels to the debate that we have about gun control. Obviously, the NRA and groups like that, Second Amendment Foundation, do useful stuff that's extremely important, but they don't really get involved in the academic debate that's out there. And so much of what goes on is based on what we perceive as happening, what the costs and benefits of guns are, and that's where a lot of this research affects the debate. Unfortunately, it's been lopsided in terms of funding. It's going to be even more so.
It's going to get worse.
Bloomberg just gave $250 million to the Bloomberg School of Public Health at Johns Hopkins, where they're going to be hiring another 40 academics, mainly to deal with gun control research. They already have 8 people there. You have a center that was just set up just recently, just in the last month or so, where it's called the New Venture Fund, where they have $14 million to give out for gun control research. You have, in January, President Obama met with the heads of 23 large foundations that had been involved in the healthcare debate. What they had been doing is for years they would go and fund these studies about how bad healthcare was in the United States, or make claims, I think, that were virtually always false about the problems with regard to uninsured in the United States. But when they'd come out with these studies, it would get news attention, and they'd come out with 3 or 4 or 5 of these studies a month, it would seem, and it was kind of this constant drumbeat to create false impressions about the way the healthcare system was working. And in January, President Obama went to these foundations. They had a giant meeting, and he said, look, we've won the healthcare debate. It's time for us to start focusing the same tools that we used to win the healthcare debate on gun control issues. And he got the 23 large foundations from Kaiser and the Wellness Foundation and others to promise that they were going to use their tens of millions of dollars each to go and fund gun control research. And then, of course, on top of all those hundreds of millions of dollars, I mean, just those things, you're probably talking near $500 million. You have President Obama is using money from the federal government now to go and fund more studies.
Hey, John, hold on a second here. I want to get back and just on the backside here, because your group is basically formed to combat that or offset that. And for those who aren't quite understanding what we're saying is, if you have 100 research studies, with big quotes around studies, and all of them say that guns are a virus and we must get rid of them because they're a health menace, and you don't have anything on the other side, the public eventually, by being subjected to this through the media all the time, comes to the conclusion that, well, yeah, this is terrible. Everywhere I go, I hear about this, so we have to do something about it. And that's how you move public opinion. You do junk research, you do fake stuff out there. We're talking with John Lott. He is an economist, a researcher, and has been at the forefront of debunking a lot of the stuff you hear about gun rights. When we come back, we're going to find out what his latest effort is and how he is going to offset, or working to offset, Bloomberg's billions. Be right back.
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
Want your next gun purchase to be fast and hassle-free? Well, at galleryofguns.com, you can search through thousands of models from our huge firearms inventory. Find a great offer from a local dealer that includes all fees and taxes. And there's no need to arrange a transfer. Gallery of Guns takes a small deposit on your credit card, and your gun will be at your chosen dealer in as little as 48 hours. Plus, your gun will be covered by our guaranteed lifetime replacement warranty. GalleryofGuns.com. Search, find, buy. It really is just that easy.
It's great to make something with your own hands. When you reload, the whole family can get involved, including breaking more targets and bagging more birds. Mech reloaders have been the center of family activities for generations. Plus, you can save money and stock up, even when there's nothing in the stores. 10, 12, 16, 20, 28, and 410. Any gauge. Get started reloading. Visit mechreloaders.com. That's MECreloaders.com.
Save up to $50 at CrimsonTrace.com. Laser sighting systems from Crimson Trace will make you a more accurate and confident shooter. No personal protection firearm is fully equipped without a laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. Visit CrimsonTrace.com November 29th through December 25th and save up to $50 on the one tool no personal protection firearm should be without: a Crimson Trace laser sight. Save up to $50 now through Christmas Day at CrimsonTrace.com.
If you're looking for a safe and trusted way to sell your firearms, look no further than Dury's Gun Shop. I trusted them to sell my dad's collection. They built their business for over 50 years on honesty and customer service. Dury's Guns will buy any size collection or estate, none too big or too small. Selling your firearms to Dury's Guns is easy. Go with the pros. I trust Dury's Guns. DurysGuns.com.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
All right, so Michael Bloomberg just gave $250 million, $250 million to Johns Hopkins University with the idea of endowing a lot of chairs there for anti-gun research. And then President Obama meets with top foundations and gets them to promise to fund anti-gun research. We're talking millions upon millions of dollars out there. So what is the offset? What are we going to do? We're talking with John Lott, of course, noted author, researcher, and basically a gun rights rock star. John, you got a plan. Tell people what's going on.
Right. Well, we've set up something called the Crime Prevention Research Center. You can go to it at crimeresearch.org, where we're trying to get a few RAs together. I'm working with a former student of mine from the University of Chicago, John Whitley, who was the research director at the Department of Homeland Security for a few years. We've done research together. But we want to be able to go, one, respond quickly to the types of claims that come out. I mean, when a new report comes out, the existing gun control groups or gun rights groups are either not willing to respond or not able to respond in a comprehensive way to the claims that are being made.
Right.
And two, do research that I think would advance the debate and go and help educate people. So, a lot of stuff has been made about Australia, for example. But
right.
I think what people need to understand is that they had this big buyback in 96 and 97. They bought back about a third of guns, which is a huge drop. But since then, people have been able to go and buy guns and replace them. And the gun ownership rate is about back to where it was almost exactly before the buyback. Well, if that's true, you should see certain systematic changes in terms of crime. And I don't think that they fit the pattern with crime or suicides that gun controllers would predict. They would predict a sudden big drop and then an increase. And in fact, what you see in things like armed robbery is an increase and then a fall, or in terms of murder and manslaughter, it's basically flat for about 9 years afterwards before you begin to see some type of drop. And I could go on, but I just think there's so much quality research that really needs to be done that's not being done. And we don't need hundreds of millions of dollars. I think even 500,000 or so, we could make a big difference in terms of having data together. I mean, I can only do so much because there are all these studies that come out. I can't tell you. I must get, when a new study comes out, I must get 50 emails, at least many times for these studies. I'd have to go and get the data down.
You can't respond to all of it.
Look at it. And if I just spent all my time just getting the data down, let alone not even having time to look at it, I couldn't even do a quarter or an eighth of the studies, let alone do anything else that's there.
Hey, John, we're just about out of time. I know you're looking for donations. Basically, we need some billionaires, but if we don't have billionaires, is there a way that people can donate and help?
Sure. Well, you can go to crimeresearch.org, and you can see some of the stuff we've been doing. And there's a little tag there for donate, and they can use PayPal to do it. But
there you go.
We have a matching grant right now for about $200,000, and every dollar that people give to us to be able to go and hire research assistants would be matched 2 to 1.
Fabulous. All right, appreciate it, John. It's Crime Prevention Research Center or crimeresearch.org. John Lott, I am so glad that you're doing this. We need it. People need to support it. And look, if you're somebody that actually has some money, real money that you could give, I can't think of anything you could do that would be more important and be a legacy for you than doing this. We'll be right back.
Join the NRA via Tom Gresham's Gun Talk website and receive $10 off the regular membership price. Log on to guntalk.com for details. You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
All right, got an email from Steve. He asked a couple of questions. He just went on Amazon, I think, bought for his Nook, More Guns, Less Crime. If you do not have that book, you need that book. That is great intellectual information for you. If you're debating with somebody or talking to them, you need a copy of More Guns, Less Crime by John Lott. It is a fabulous book. It's got all the information, the details you need right there. Also, he said, what was the name of that website again for John Lott? It's crimepreventionresearchcenter.org. I think it may also be able to do it with crimeprevention.org, but I'm not sure. crimepreventionresearchcenter.org. We'll get you in there. Let's talk to Dave. He's on line one. He's up in Michigan. Hello, Dave.
Hi, Tom. You had a caller last hour that was talking about having to discuss with his relatives, I think, who said that the Second Amendment only applies to pitchforks.
Oh, yeah. That was great, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I often get into discussions with the antis that say, and I'm sure you've heard it all the time, that, it only applies to muskets and things that were in existence in the 18th century. Well, when somebody says that to me, I use your technique and I ask them the question, do they know what the Supreme Court said about that argument? And, of course, they say no, because they haven't done any research on it.
Right.
And then I point to this part of the Heller decision where Scalia writes these words. He says, some have made the argument bordering on the frivolous that only those arms in existence in the 18th century are protected by the Second Amendment. Then he says, we do not interpret constitutional rights that way. And then there's
pretty clear cut. Yeah, it's pretty clear cut. It says it's frivolous, bordering on the frivolous. We do not interpret constitutional rights that way. In other words, like I say, the analogy would be, well, are you saying that because there was no internet or broadcast media then, that there is no First Amendment right on the internet or broadcast media? And they would be aghast at the very idea. But it's the exact same thing, is it not?
Yeah, and in the same paragraph, he goes on, just as the First Amendment protects modern forms of communication and the Fourth Amendment applies to modern forms of search. So, he covers that, but I just love it, because if a lawyer calls something frivolous, that's kind of about the worst thing you could say about an argument, isn't it? Frivolous?
That is a legal smackdown by the court is what that is. It absolutely is. You make a great point about people need to get a copy of the Heller decision and read it. It's amazing. What in the world possessed you to actually read this document?
Oh, I read it the day it was announced. I read it, and I read it a few times since then. Scalia is an amazing writer, and I've also read the dissenting. The main reason that I read it is because he answers a lot of the arguments that you hear typically from the antis, and he answers them in a very eloquent and convincing way.
And one of the other things that people don't get is that they say, well, they only decided 5-4 that it's an individual right. No. Actually, they decided 9-0 that the Second Amendment is an individual right. And then they went on to split 5-4 on the rest of the decision. But the Supreme Court was absolutely unanimous that the Second Amendment is an individual right, not some kind of phonied up collective right. There's no such thing as a collective right, by the way. So it was a 9-0 decision on the Second Amendment being an individual right. If you don't have a copy of it, you can go online, go to scotusblog.com. You can look it up, or just do an internet search for the Heller decision. Print it out. It really is easy reading, and it's great information. All right, go out and do your shopping. Grab yourself a gun. Buy all the ammo you can get. Yeah, we'll start that problem again. And we'll see you next week right here. Be safe, be good, and watch out for those parking lots.